What's up, guys? Every once in a while I do a video like this because I test a lot of products on cars, and I'm always out doing something with a vehicle, and you know, we all have our little issues. I just bought a Dodge Dakota, and it had sat for 3 years, and you know, it had accumulated some issues over those 3 years from just sitting. You know, cars don't like to sit. So I got this car, needed a starter, needed some other stuff, gave it a full tune-up, and then I noticed that I started getting some coolant leaking. Small leak, not huge, but not tiny either. It was a good sized leak, so anytime the system would pressurize, I'd get drip, 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 drip. You know, 5 minutes idling, you can fill half a cup. You know, like a Solo cup. Think about a red Solo cup. You know, if it idles for 5 minutes, I could fill up about a red Solo cup. Now, there's products I've used in the past, and this one's always been very, very good. Now, there's things I want you to understand about this. Okay, this Bars stop leak, radiator stop leak stuff is fantastic stuff. It's very non-abrasive. Like, it's not gonna completely clog up your cooling system. Its main objective is to find small holes when it cures and then kind of thicken and become like a kind of a clay form. That's what ends up happening. It kind of turns into like a big clay spot in that hole, and it'll gum up that area. Now, I've had real good luck in the past with this stuff, and once again, it has pulled through for me temporarily, and I am going to go back and I'm going to do an update on this as we go. This will be part 1, so you guys know how long this stuff lasted. Now, last time I used this, I had a Chrysler Cirrus that had a radiator leak, and it was a 13 psi system. This is a 20 psi system. Okay, Bars once again solved the problem. I put it in. I had a nice, decent little dripping leak out of that as well, and it cured that problem. I drove the car for over 1.5 years, and it never leaked again. I even sold it. When I sold it to the guy, I told him, I said, hey, I used, you know, stop leak in there. The whole thing I want you guys to understand is that this stuff can work for a really long time. Yeah, it's for emergency situations, but a lot of times this can solve some major issues. You know, especially if you just need to get by. Now, I'm standing next to my car, and it's running. I got the Dodge Dakota right here, and we're going to talk about a few things. But I also want you to understand that there are a couple things you have to do after you put this stuff in there. This isn't just magic fix, man. You got to do a few more things after you put this in there, because when this stuff cures, it turns into clay. So you got to think it's kind of like a clay form. It'll thicken and get hard, and it'll gum up a few of the spots in your system, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So you have ventilation ports and you have stuff like that on the top of the radiator cap. So when you buy this stuff, get a radiator cap, and get a brand new radiator cap, and get yourself a new thermostat. Because after about 2 weeks, you're going to want to change your thermostat, and you're going to want to change your radiator cap. Once the curing process is done, this stuff will gum up a few of those major components. Sometimes you'll get away with it, other times you won't. It's just better after the curing process is over, running it in the car for 2 weeks, to change those 2 items, and then see how long your system holds up without needing repair. So I got the car, it's running, I just put this stuff in. About 15 or 20 minutes in, my leak stopped. So I'm going to show you on the ground here. I just left not too long ago, and this was coolant. Now, if you notice, there's no more coolant leaking underneath this car. That was another spot, another spot, another spot, another. So you can see where I've been parking the past week, and it's just been dripping off. So every time I park somewhere, it would leak. As soon as I put the Bars in there, within 15 or 20 minutes, it gummed up the little hole that was there, and it solved the problem. There's no leaking. That system's pressurized. I'll go ahead and pop the hood just to show you. I'll give it a squeeze. You can see that it's under its full potential of pressure. We'll also check the thermostat, or the gauge here, so you guys can see. Running normal, air conditioning's on, fan's working, it's not gumming up the system. Good to go. But you'll also notice over here, I have a new radiator cap ready to go on. I still have to go pick up the thermostat, but in about a week, I'm going to go ahead after the curing process is done with this stuff, and I'm going to change the thermostat, and I'm going to put a new radiator cap on it. And then we'll see how long this stuff lasts before it springs a leak again. If you're lucky, it won't spring a leak at all. I've had very good dealings with Bars stop leak in the past, so I just wanted to give an honest review of this product because I've used it numerous times, and it's honestly saved me a ton of money in repairs. There's just a few things you have to be aware of. So this line right now is pressurized. It's hot, but it's pressurized. It says it's a 20-pound reservoir, right? 20 psi reservoir, but there's no leaking. Nothing. It completely stopped that leak in, 15 or 20 minutes of just driving it around. You can idle it or drive it. I would suggest drive it because you want proper flow through the system. But in about a week or 2 weeks, you're going to need to change those two components, because if you don't, they're going to get gummed up. If you're lucky, they won't, and your system will keep running good. When you're ready, or you spring a leak again, let's say it lasts you a year and it starts leaking again, you can do a flush on this system yourself in your driveway with a container. Flush the whole system out if you want to, right? Do it properly, follow the laws and the rules and all that stuff. But you can run a complete flush on this with flushing agent for about 20 bucks, and then you can get another can, right? Thermostat radiator cap, so much cheaper. Run them through and do it all over again if you want to, without having to replace the radiator. The flushing agent will clear out all the old stop leak stuff. You'll have to run probably, two cycles of it, and then redo all your coolant stuff. But I mean, it works. Bars just works. So there's every once in a while, man, if I have a product that I like and it does a good job, I'll push it all day, and this will work with any coolant system. So truck is not leaking anymore, and I don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars having the whole front of my truck torn apart to put in a radiator. Still working perfect. Air conditioning's blowing cold. She hasn't sprung a leak yet. So far I put about 55 miles on it since I put this in. Leak stopped within 15 or 20 minutes. Hasn't been back since. I'll give you guys an update as we go here, and I'll let you know what happens. Bars, incredible stuff. Drone worship, part 1. Bar stop leak, radiator. So far, so good. I'll see you guys when I have an update for you.
Go home, folks.